Sorry.
All right, go get your remote.
Oh, I guess I'll see.
This is a great honor for every fan of the Dallas Cowboys. I'm honored to be in the NFL.
What can I say? Mamba out.
Well, it's your boy Jay McLovin. Welcome to the afternoon show where Gonzo's currently looking for his remote, but until he finds it, I'll just say the hello. It's your boy Jay McLovin. Got Gonzo to my left, and my boy, the only one left in the playoffs right now between the three of us, Frankie the Yankee. What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing today?
Woo! Let's go. I'm doing wonderful. I'm doing fantastic. I am happy today. We moving on. We changing Boston Red Sox name to Boston Red Sox. I am super pumped, but I'm gonna save my happiness. I'm gonna let Chris go ahead and do his introduction.
No, I'm doing pretty good. I mean, the Reds got beat the other night, but other than that, some good baseball yesterday. Them elimination games, and then this weekend's going to be fun with all the college football, playoff baseball, and then the NFL. So, and there's a big UFC this weekend. So there's a lot going on this weekend.
Yeah, we're going to take just a quick 2-second moment of silence for the teams that are no longer in the playoffs. Chris obviously is one of them. That's not in the playoffs. I did not make the playoffs, so therefore Frankie has no ammunition to use against me right now. But it's just clearly the Reds.
And with that, let's move on.
Let's go. So, okay. So, all right. Well, let's start it off with baseball, Frankie. Since that's the topic of discussion that we started off with. Your Yankees won last night against Boston. What did you think about that? What did you think about your team overall? Obviously, Schlittler, whatever his name is, played really well for you guys. What was your impression?
Yeah, I was super excited. I'm super pumped the way Cam Schlittler pitched last night. Rookie pitcher, started the season off this year in Double-A Summer S. And then he moved his way after 15 games, moved his way up to the Triple-A. Only started 5 games in Triple-A before getting the call up in early July to start. I think it was July 9th, where he made his debut for the Yankees. And he's just been an absolute great rookie pitcher all season long since he came up. He's been actually really good with a low or a mid 2 point, I think it's 3-something ERA. The only situation I got with this dude, and it's not even big because like I said, he's a rookie, is his walk ratio. His walk ratio is high, but guess what? In the moment where we needed him the most, he walked no batters last night. No batter. I'm talking about he looked like Garrett Crochet in game 1 of this game last night. He was absolutely dominant. And I also want to tip my cap to what's his name, Connolly Early, the rookie pitcher from Boston. He pitched really good as well. I'm not gonna sit here and say he didn't pitch good. He was literally striking out our batters left and right until we got it to him in the 4th inning where we rattled them, and then we cracked them, and then they sat him. That's what we need to do against Toronto. It was a really good game by Cam Schlittler. I'm super pumped. And now there's a new thing going around that you call it Schlit happens, right? Schlit happens. And that's exactly what happened yesterday. He made history as a solo player in postseason. He's the first player ever to pitch 8+ innings with 12 strikeouts and no walks. So that's good. We also broke a kind of, I wouldn't call it a curse, but it kind of is a curse. This was the first time that the Yankees have beaten the Red Sox in a playoff series since 2003. So when they actually beat us to end the Bambino curse in 04, we haven't been able to beat them in the postseason since then. So I'm a little excited about that as well. But the main thing that caught my eye, and besides Cam Schlittler's outstanding performance, Ryan McMahon with the crazy over the dugout railing to get an out at the, I think it was the top of the ninth at that time to get the second out. He flies over, does a swanton bomb on the bench. Everybody's standing up scared for a minute. You know, they celebrated for the catch. They paused their celebration because they wanted to make sure he wasn't hurt. He got up like, I'm okay. And everybody just starts chanting again because it was an amazing play. I am super proud of how every single player played last night. Every single one, from the starting pitcher to the starting batter to the closing pitcher and to the ninth hitter. It was an absolute important game. Everybody played their asses off, and I couldn't ask for more. I really couldn't.
Yeah, real quick. I'll say mine quick. Yeah, I felt like Schlittler really did you guys a huge favor. He pitched his ass off. His pitching line was very, very close to being that of Skewball when he pitched for Detroit, and that crazy stat line that he had. I think it was like 13 or 14 strikeouts, something crazy. So I guess he must have had a phone conversation, got a couple of tips, and went out there and had an amazing night, just like old Skewball did. And that's great pitcher, man. And you guys needed that with Carlos Rodon and kind of struggling a little bit, and also with Fried, whatever. This guy literally wrote the book for you guys and really set the tone for you guys. And Boston just couldn't do anything. And for once, this is the first time I've seen Alex Bregman go 0 for 3 in a critical situation. Typically, Breggy will get you 1 or 2 hits when the games are really critical. And he went 0 for 3, and that was a big thing in my book. The fact that he didn't even get on base was crazy. But it's a good game for you guys. It's a good way to set the tone going into Toronto, where the competition will get a little bit deeper. But all in all, man, great game. Gonzo?
Hey, real talk, before Gonzo go, now that you mentioned Alex Bregman, because I forgot to bring this up, this was our first time beating and eliminating Alex Bregman, if you guys think about it, because all 3 times that Alex Bregman was 3-0 against the Yankees in the playoffs. And Jay, you should know that.
Well, I know.
So for the fact for us to come out and Cam Schlittler to make Bregman go 0-3 and us finally beating Bregman, that also puts like a little heavy thing on my heart, because we could not beat him when he was with the Astros. But you see what happens. Boston is not the Astros. Okay, you got 2 teams that are 2 different, environmental type things with 2 shitty names, right? I add an S to the Astros, and now we're changing Boston's name to Boston Red Sox. So Bregman, you better go to another team, man, because Boston ain't it.
Yeah, I told you that McMahon should have been playing from the beginning when they put Caballero in there. And I said, I don't know why you're going to trade for a guy like McMahon only to sit him on the damn bench. Made no sense to me. And I'm glad that they went back to McMahon, because as you can see, his defense is incredible. And so is his offense. And that should have been the way it was for the beginning.
Well, when it came to last night, Chris, Chris, I'm gonna let you go. I don't mean to we didn't mean to cut you off and keep going. McMahon didn't start last night. They started Ahmed Rosario instead. But I'm not gonna sit here and say that was a mistake, because if it wasn't for Ahmed Rosario's base hit, we wouldn't have scored another run or another 2 runs. Because when he came in the 4th inning, he got a base hit out into the open outfield, and it scored in 2 runs, and that helped us get a 4-0 lead. Compared to McMahon, where McMahon lately has been striking out, he's not really good on the offensive part. So I'm feeling like if McMahon was in that role right there, we wouldn't have added extra runs. So I like the fact that Ahmed Rosario came in, he got the base hit, he got the 2 extra runs, and then when the time came for just defense, because Boone knew that Cam Schlittler was playing so good that when we had the 4-0 lead, he said, okay, I don't care about the bats no more. I don't care about the runs anymore. If we get hits, that's cool. But from this point on, it's straight defense. And what did he do? He took Ahmed Rosario out, and he put Ryan McMahon back on defense. That's what you need to do. get those leads, and then put your best defenders on the field. And there's no better third baseman on the Yankees right now than Ryan McMahon. And he showed it last night with his swanton bomb. I love that we have a man on our team named McMahon doing swanton bombs on the Boston Red Sox.
Yes,
Go ahead,
sir.
Chris.
Gonzo?
No, and Frankie, you see the Reds do that a lot at third base ever since we got Brian Hayes. Because sometimes if they're depending on the pitching matchup, and if they wanted to go offensive, Hayes wouldn't start at third. But once it got like sixth, seventh inning, they would insert Hayes in the game for defensive purposes because he was by far our best third baseman. So that's the same thing I see the Yankees doing with McMahon. No, the fourth inning changed that game. Like Frankie said, Yankees was able to get those runs. That was a fun 3-game series. And then the play where the guy went into the dugout, that was kind of reminiscent to Jeter's play against the Red Sox. I know it wasn't when Jeter done it went in the playoffs, but still, that's a heck of a play for a guy just to sell out. But yeah, it's going to be – I can't wait for this weekend. Tomorrow, isn't it? And that when a lot of these series start?
Saturday. Yeah, Saturday is the first.
All games start tomorrow.
First game. Yeah.
And let's look at tomorrow, right? In this first wild card series, we had a couple division rivals play. All right, we had the Tigers versus the Guardians and the Red Sox versus the Yankees. This time around, we still have a couple division rivals playing. We have the Chicago Cubs with the Milwaukee Brewers and the New York Yankees with the Toronto Blue Jays. I like this playoff series right now from the start to finish because we're going to see rivals like literally all the way to the end.
And you have the Phillies and Dodgers.
Yeah, and the Phillies. Yeah, like this is going to be amazing. Nobody cares about the Tigers and the Mariners. Nobody cares about that damn series.
You better care about it because I'm telling you, it's not gonna be an easy one. You're gonna have to put some work in if you're gonna get to the World Series.
I don't care about it because I'm not focused on that right now. My focus is Toronto. I take it one series at a time, one game at a time. I ain't worried about that series. I don't care who wins that series. I'll care who wins that series when the moment comes for the ALCS.
Hey man, well at least you learn not to celebrate when your team is doing good because I told you I'm superstitious. I never celebrate. Never celebrate. Wait till the game's over with.
Oh, don't, bro. So Caitlin knows, right? And you guys know my wife. Jay definitely knows my wife. Like, she sits next to me every freaking time, and she hears the podcast that I'm on, and she hears, me and Jay talking, even me, Chris, and everybody. They know how superstitious when it comes to baseball. Me and Jay are. Seriously, I feel like me and Jay are the two people that are more superstitious with baseball than anyone here on ESPN on our network. And the fact that she sits here all 3 games trying to piss me off, right? It's like she's literally like saying wild shit where I'm like, why would you say something like that? Like the game doesn't even start yesterday, and she's like, well, you know that the Yankees are gonna win. I'm like, why are you saying that? Don't fucking say that right now. Like, it's every game she was saying some slick shit, right? We get bases loaded. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. You know they're going to get a hit and they're going to get some score running. Nope. Bases loaded. No out. Guess what happens? We don't fucking score. Thanks, honey. You need to keep your mouth shut. Baseball's a real superstitious sport. It really is. And yesterday I did that a couple of times. I had my boy here, and he got up and he walked to the kitchen to get something to drink. And at that moment, Jazz Chapman was batting. He was 0-2, swung at 2 pitches. My boy got up to go to the kitchen, and then Jazz Chisholm tip fouled the ball. And I told my boy, I said, stay right there. Do not come back out. You stay right there. And he's just looking at me like, are you serious? I'm like, well, he tipped the freaking ball when you got up and left. When you were sitting here next to me, he swung and missed both times. You stay the fuck right there and let's see what's going to happen. And then he stood there. And Jazz didn't do nothing. He got frozen up. He got struck out. So I was like, all right, you go back.
No, I get it because there's a lot of times I listen to the game on the radio instead of watching it because I feel like the Reds win more when I listen to it on the radio than they do when I watch it on TV.
Yeah, I feel like that too. Sometimes I do that in the regular season. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go in the car before the game starts. I gotta go for a long drive. I'm gonna go see my mom.
Oh, dude, there's a lot of nights I sit out in the garage, don't even have the TV in the garage on, just have the radio on and listen to the Reds game.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. I'm very superstitious like that, and yeah, that's why I don't watch a lot of the games. Astros,
I might not
Cowboys.
go back to
try not
another
to,
Reds.
but
I might not go to another Reds game. They've lost like the last 7 games I've went to, so I might not even go watch them again.
Well, they
Tell you,
won the
Chris.
game. They won the last game you went to, and you got to go see Snoop Dogg.
No, they lost that game.
Oh, never mind.
Hey, I'm telling you, Chris, like the grim reaper of success. If you see him at your game and he's trying to root for your team, you just beat his ass up, throw him in the fucking back of the truck, and take him back home. Don't
We
let
were
him come.
winning,
Don't.
we were winning most that game, and then Schwarber hit one about 800 feet.
Yeah, real quick. Hey, moving on to the next game, though, I was going to talk about is the Padres obviously got eliminated. And their big units didn't show up at all, Chris. Frankie, the biggest game of their life, and nobody that was worth a damn got a hit. Tatis was 0 for 4. Arias 0 for 4. Machado 0 for 3. I mean, Furman did good 2 for 4, so I'll give him one. But that team, by and large, did not hit the ball well at all against Chicago. So now I'm wondering. And your boy Tyone got the start last night, Frankie, and he actually got the win. He went 4 innings, 4.1 innings, and didn't give up a run. And then the bullpen for the Cubs didn't give up a run. How strong do you think the Cubs are going to be in round 1 of the DS?
Well, I think the better way to phrase that would have been nobody that people know got a hit last night, because most of if you're in the major league, you're probably worth a damn. Instead of
I know.
Got a hit.
See, my worth the damn is on a different scale. My worth the damn is on the MLB scale. Like, I know I suck. I know I wouldn't get no damn hit. That's why I'm not in the MLB. I'm just saying worth the damn at their level. At their level of play, Christopher. Oh my God. I see you're starting early already. You're just starting early. I got it. Chris, since you've already started though, Cubs, how far do they go?
I don't know if they're going to get by the Brewers. It's going to be a good series. These teams know each other well. They see each other a lot, being in the same division. But the Brewers have just been so consistent this season. It's hard for me to see the Cubs winning this series.
Yeah, Frankie, how do you feel about the Cubs? The way that they ended the series with the Padres, and what are you expecting to end the first game? Round 1.
I'm expecting, honestly, I do expect the Brewers to win game 1. But don't go crazy on me if I say this. I expect the Cubs to win this series. Honestly, like I feel like the Cubs could beat the Brewers. Like Chris said, this is 2 teams that see each other a lot in the regular season. But I look at it as the Cubs have been consistent with the hitting and the pitching as of late, since towards the end of the season and into this postseason, and those sit down rests that do give a team a little bit of rust when you sit down and you rest and you don't go out there, you don't swing the bats against other pitchers, and I get that you're out there doing scrimmages and you're swinging your bats and you're on the field, and but it's a scrimmage. You're going up against your own players, your own teammates. You're not going up against opponents. So I feel like the Cubs could win this series because of how their pitching looked against the Padres, how their bullpen looked against the Padres, how their bats were coming alive against the Padres. The only person that I feel like needs to step up a little bit, and I don't want to put all the blame on him because he is coming back from an injury not so long ago, is Kyle Tucker, right? The Chicago Cubs need the Kyle Tucker who started the season with them. The guy that was hitting home runs, getting on base, and stealing bases. That's the Kyle Tucker they need. But other than that, I feel like they can win this series. I don't think they're going to win game 1 because of travel and stuff like that. But I wouldn't be surprised if they do win this series. I have a lot of faith in the Chicago Cubs winning this one.
Yeah, and Bush is really good at hitting that long bomb. He actually leads the Cubs with 34, and he went 3 for 4 yesterday. So that Bush, he's looking really, really good. And like you said, Tucker had a really good game yesterday. Gonzo, did you already go on this one?
Yeah, he went first.
Okay, I just wanted to double check. I didn't want to skip over.
Yeah, and then he didn't play Bush the game before because the analytic team said that he shouldn't play.
Yeah.
The Yankees did that as well,
Yeah, do you,
right?
and did
the
you
Yan-
guys realize that a lot of these managers don't even make the batting orders?
They have the analytics teams are doing it,
Yeah,
and
a
they're just
lot
rolling
of
with
these managers aren't even allowed to make their own batting order. Like they get overruled, so they have to do the batting order that the analytic team make.
yeah,
That
I
all
had a
started
feeling.
with like you said, when you saw Moneyball, right? Where he went in there and told the coach, hey, he's going to start, he's not going to start. I guess that really does go on in real life. Hey, these are the guys that we're playing today.
Well, that's when it started. Ever since that moment, like in real life, not just when they watched that movie. Like when that happened in real life, that's when all of that shit really happened. But I see what Chris is saying because the Yankees did the same thing in game 1 with Greg Crochet. You sit down Jazz Chisholm Jr. and Ben Rice, 2 hot hitters. That's about like 50 plus home runs between them two. Instead, you start Paul Goldschmidt and you start Ahmed Rosario. Yeah, they set down McMahon as well. You start Rosario and you start Caballero. So, I mean, I get it. But when you have Ben Rice can hit well against lefties, and so can Jazz Chisholm. Those are 2 lefty batters. But I get why you did it because in analytics, Paul Goldschmidt has been really successful against left-hand pitchers this year. But then again, when you see the last 2 days, the last 2 games, he sat down Paul Goldschmidt and started Ben Rice over Paul Goldschmidt. So, I mean, Boone needs to, like, and I'm not just Boone, but other managers, they need to step up and be like, no, we're not going to go with this line. I'm going to go with the heavy, hot hitters right now, not the ones who's been successful against this type of pitcher.
Yeah, they say Boone don't get to make a lot of decisions.
Yeah, he doesn't, and he's a freaking dumbass. Like
It's all everything's done by the analytic team. They won't let him like do a lot of shit, and I think that hurts the Yankees.
It does because I want to know who's the one, and I know it's Matt Blake, our pitching coach. He's the one, and I wanted to correct Jay on this earlier because he mentioned Max Fried with Carlos Rodon struggling game 2, which he kind of did. And then Max Fried didn't struggle at all. Max Fried pitched an amazing game. He actually had the Yankees at a 1-0 lead. The thing that messed us up was a bonehead mistake in taking him out early when it's the freaking playoffs. All right.
Yeah, I think that's where I was going with that. I was going with that the fact that Boone took him out so early. Not that Fried was playing bad, but that Boone took him out. I thought Boone took him out too early.
Right, and that's the thing. Like, why are you taking him out early? It's the playoffs. I want to see a pitcher pitch until he can't, like, his arm is wiggling off his freaking shoulder. I don't give a shit. Like, this is October. This isn't regular season. You don't pull him out when he's at 70-something, 80-something pitches. You pull him out when he's at, I want to see 113, 115 pitches. That's what I want to see. And then you go and you bring in Luke Weaver, who I love Luke Weaver to death. I really do. And I feel like the reason he fell off is because he had the high hope last year. He became our closer, and then you go and you get Devin Williams, and you screwed everything up for him, and he felt like, I got to fight for this, and it screwed him up. So I don't put a lot of blame on him. But then again, like, you have a reliever that's in the month of September throwing a 7 to a 9 ERA. That's not good. Don't bring him in October. You got to bring in your best pitchers. Don't sit there and be like, oh, hey, Matt, who should we bring in to, relieve Fried? Oh, well, let's go with Luke Weaver. No. Boone, be the freaking manager and say, no, we're going with Fernando Cruz, which, by the way, thank you, Chris. Fernando Cruz has been outstanding for us. But you go and you bring in Fernando Cruz. You bring in Tim Hill. What the hell? You bring in Duvall. Bring in Devin Williams. I don't give a shit. He's been looking good like the last 2 weeks. You don't bring in someone with a 7 to a 9 ERA.
Yeah.
And the problem was, the reason Boone took him out in the 7th inning was because of analytics. He listened to the analytic team instead of going with his gut, because he knew if he went with his gut and left Fried out there like he wanted to, and it went wrong, then he's going to be in trouble.
But he shouldn't be doing that. You're the manager, man. You think that?
No, I agree. I agree 100% with what you're saying. But that's what's happening with a lot of these managers nowadays.
Because last night he stepped up. He actually showed that he was a manager. And you could see his lips. You read that shit. He looked at Cam Schlittler at the end of the 7th inning, and he said, hey, you're throwing strikes, brother. You're going back out there. That's what I want to see. I'm really shocked that they pulled him in the 9th inning. I would have let him finish that freaking game and give him a complete shutout game. I would have gave that to him because he was still throwing high 100s to high 90 sinker balls.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
He's the future, bro. He's the future, and it excites me for the
Yeah.
Yankees in the future, because when you look at it, you got a healthy Garrett Cole coming back. We got the Max Fried behind him. Carlos Rodon hit and miss sometimes, but he looked fantastic this year. With a Cam Schlittler, all we have to do is who's that fifth, and to me, that fifth is Luis Hill. Like, I feel like our starting pitching is going to look great next year and on to the future, to where the Yankees just have to look for bullpen pieces.
My only contention with that, everything sounds good except for Cole. I just don't. Cole's getting up there in age too. I don't know how long he stays healthy all the time.
This is his first injury.
No, he's had other injuries though. He had injuries. He was injured last year.
But this is like his first major injury, where he's like, you got to get Tommy John surgery, and when pitchers.
That's right. He had Tommy John, didn't he?
Yeah. So when you leave, but the good thing about him getting Tommy John is he got it in spring training. So I'm not expecting him to be out for a full length like normal pitchers do, who wait until like July or June to decide to freaking be out for a Tommy John. He will have to in spring training. So we know how effective and good pitchers look when they come back from Tommy John. So I cannot wait to see what Garrett Cole's going to do when he comes back. I can't.
Well, I've seen pitchers come back and look amazing, like Verlander, who got the Cy Young after he had the Tommy John. And then I've seen people like Luis Garcia, who come back from Tommy John and are being gone for like 2 years, pitch 1 or 2 games, and then right elbow discomfort, out for the season. So, I mean, I don't know, Frank. It can go either way, but probably the chances are, given their age, most of the time they can come back from Tommy John pretty effectively. Chris? Okay. And then, of course, you had the Guardians in Detroit. Detroit wound up taking out the Guardians. The Guardians were a super hot team for a good part of that back half, and just couldn't get past Detroit. So Flaherty only went like 3 or 4 innings. I forget who the other guy was that pitched for Guardians, but he only went 2.1 innings. So it was almost like a damn bullpen game for both teams in terms of pitching. Did you see that Detroit game coming out the way it did?
Yeah, I did.
Did you?
I definitely did. I honestly, I definitely did, because I was thinking this after watching the game yesterday, and it hit me that the Guardians were actually the team that defeated the Tigers in the ALDS last year to get to the ALCS. So Hinch and the Detroit Tigers as a whole came out and said, we need to get this series. This is our redemption moment right here. This is the team that knocked us out last year. Let's come back and let's knock them out. And the fact they did it in 3 games in Cleveland, it's outstanding. Honestly, like, I don't know if it was Cleveland with some mistakes, or if the Detroit Tigers are just really good as people think that they are. Honestly, to me, I don't think the Detroit Tigers are that good. I feel like the only thing that's good about them is Skubal. To me, that's the only thing that Detroit is good for. Other than that, Cleveland could have won this game, but something happened in this game where Cleveland just, like, because in the beginning it was close, and then they just gave up towards the end. So I don't know what happened on Cleveland's end, but I did expect Detroit to win this series.
Yeah, I mean, they really lost it in that 7th inning when they gave up, like, was it 4 runs between those 2 relief pitchers? God, I mean, they weren't in long. I mean, it was bam, bam, two runs down, for both of them. I mean, they weren't in there very long. And they, of course, obviously, that's when everything imploded for Cleveland, and Detroit went on the rest of the way. So it is what it is. Now we get so I guess tomorrow.
Hold on. Chris, what did you think about that game?
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're good. The Guardians blew that series in game 1. They should have won game 1. They blew that game, and then what you give a team basically another chance to beat you, and Detroit took advantage of it. Yeah, I picked the Guardians to win that series at the start of the series, but then after game 1, when the Guardians let that game slip out of their hands, I figured Detroit was going to winning the series. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if Detroit can make offense can come alive. That's what's been killing them here on this drought they've been on. Is their bats have went dead, and they were able to get 4 or 5 runs yesterday, but they're going to have to be able to do that here in this series if they're going to have a chance to move on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Detroit was my pick to make it to the World Series, but they still got a lot of work to do to make that happen. Yeah, so we'll see. So Saturday you get Cubs and Brewers are going to have the early game at 1:00, and then you'll have Yankees and Blue Jays starting at the 3:00 game.
What's up,
And
Joe?
then Dodgers Phillies got the 6:30 game or 5. No, excuse me. 5:30. They got 5:38 Dodgers and Phillies, and then Tigers and Mariners go down at 7:38. So that's your list of games.
So that's all Central Time for Jay, and Eastern Time.
Yeah, all
The first game is at 1:08 Eastern Time. The second game is at 4:08 Eastern Time. The third game will be at 6:38 Eastern Time, and the last game will be 8:38 Eastern Time, which is all weird ass freaking times.
Man,
Baseball
yeah,
always
that's
does that. They always start. They can't just start like at 8:30. It has to be 8:38 or 8:07 or 7:03. It can never just be a nice round number.
Yeah, it's so freaking weird. Like, I told my wife that I'm like, oh, we play at 4:08 on Fox on Saturday, and she's like, why 4:08? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. Like I put the game on at 4:00, and these motherfuckers aren't even on the field yet. They're still like, it's 4:08, and they're still not on the field.
Yeah.
First pitch clearly don't come until probably like at 4:10 or something like that.
That's a little later than that. It's probably more like around 4:20 or so.
Like we all sitting here ready to watch our teams. We're changing the channel. We're like, oh shit, it's 4:08. We gotta watch the game. We go to the game. It's one or two things is gonna happen. You're gonna change the channel at 4:08 and it's gonna be on commercial, or you're gonna change the channel at 4:08 and they're still doing interviews with players.
So my thing is, I'm assuming that they came up with the times that they have to fit around college football. Do you think, or is that just a time that they just chose?
I don't think it's based on being around college football, because I know for a fact MLB is not focused on college football. They don't care what time they play, because they're also on different channels.
Yeah,
I think it's more of the separation, right? Because back then baseball used to be 3 hours long. Now it's not. It's under 3 hours. So like they're trying to like get those time frames in all before like a 10 p.m. slot, where like in regular season you'll see like the Dodgers game, right? I'm pretty sure that's the last game.
No, the Tigers,
that's the third game. That's their third game.
Yeah.
Okay. But like for instance, if the Dodgers were at home, we would have seen them last, and we would probably, like Chris, for the last series, it would have probably started at like 10:08 or some shit like that.
I mean, if you're asking me on a Saturday, I would probably put the Tigers, because they're playing in Seattle and Maryland, and I'd put the East Coast games the first game, and then work my way back towards the West Coast and do it that way. That way you don't have people coming on at like 7 o'clock at night, for a game that probably won't be over until about 10:30. It would seem to me it would be better if they just did it and started the East Coast at the early game and worked their way back to the West Coast. Am I thinking off, or y'all? What do y'all think about that?
Yeah, because Seattle's game is first, right?
Yeah, no, Seattle's game is last. They play at 7:38.
Well, yeah,
so that means that's like 11 o'clock stop time, probably.
Yeah, that makes sense because of the West Coast time, which is why they did put the two East Coast first. Well, three East Coast teams that first. Even though Toronto is in Canada, it's still East Coast, Eastern time zone. So they did put all the Eastern time zones first, and have the.
Or I said that wrong. It should be the Western Conference that should be going first.
Well,
because of where they're based at.
No,
they won't do that, because if you start a game
at 1, it's
if
really
you start a game at 1 Eastern in the West, it's 9 in the morning.
Yeah, well,
10 in the morning.
11. Yeah, 10 in the morning. 10 in the morning. That's why they put Seattle's game late at 8:38.
Yeah, because that game it'll only be 5:30 in Seattle.
Which honestly
it just
good.
sucks for everybody trying to watch that one game though, because they're the ones that are. But I guess no matter what, somebody's going to get a late game no matter what. So I guess it really doesn't matter. So yeah, I guess I understand what you're saying.
And Joe, why the hell you care? You don't need to watch playoff baseball. Your team's not in it. Enjoy your sleep. Enjoy your sleep. Put your feet up.
Hey, Joe, just record them. That's what I do. If I lived in Italy and they came on at that time, I just record them.
Jay, you still record them.
Huh?
You still record them because your team ain't in it, so you're not watching any of them live neither.
Oh no, my team is relaxing. We're rehabbing from all of our injuries, so that way next year we can start with a fresh look. I'll tell you, Ashton's gonna be back next year. Don't worry about us. We'll be back. We'll be back next year, and we'll be back healthier. But that's a moot point. That's next year's conversation.
Time this moment in. Chris, time this moment in. Because when he comes around next year and they don't make it, and he comes out and he'd be like, "Well, I've been the same all year. I said that the Astros weren't gonna, we weren't gonna be here because of everything that's been dealing, blah blah blah." I'm gonna come back and say,
I have been saying that though. I called it day one. I said, "How are we gonna compete with all these injuries?"
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. But yeah. I'm taking this moment right here. You're saying right now, right now on October 3rd, 2025 at 2:50 p.m. Eastern time, that the Astros are going to be back next year.
What I'm saying is those teachers in New York did a good job. The fact that you could tell time is freaking amazing.
Yeah. Go ahead. That's what I struggle with.
The teachers in New York are doing a good job.
We all know. Go ahead and dodge it because we all know for a fact that the Astros are trash again next year. You're going to change your whole attitude and shit and be like, you're going to say something in the month of May, and then you're going to come out in September and be like, well, I've been the same since, I've told you guys since this, that. And I'm going to come out and say, Chris, you remember this point last year, this motherfucker sitting here said, we're going to be back in it next year.
Yep. And he also always says that if anybody brings up injuries, injuries are just part of the game, but always been talking about.
I never said that. Okay, Chris done lying over there. He done lying. Chris lying over. He ain't telling the truth.
Whoa, Frankie! You're telling me if you were saying that the Yankees had injuries, he wouldn't be saying, "Oh, you can't be using that as an excuse."
That's not true. I have never said that.
He's trying to use injuries as an excuse.
I have never said that.
I also,
and you can't tell Frankie because Frankie's going to go along with whatever you say, no matter what.
Oh hell yeah, definitely. I also remember a couple years ago where Jay said he had one of the best farm systems in the league.
We did have one of the best farm systems, but we obviously traded a lot of that farm system away, though.
To who?
We traded a lot.
To who? For who? To who? For who?
Well, first of all, go back to 2017 when we had the scandal and we lost the draft picks. So we lost draft picks. So we haven't been able to actually replenish. And we called up a lot of people. And we've also traded away a lot of people. We traded away, I don't even know how many guys we traded away to bring Verlander back to Houston. That was at least 2 or 3 draft picks. We've given up picks along the way, Frank, is what I'm saying. We gave up. Who was it? That one kid that we drafted out of New Tennessee, the really good kid. I can't remember his name right now, but it was for a pitcher. But point is that we've been traded away a lot of our picks, and we had pitches taken away. So it is what it is. Hey, what's up, Tony? I know you out there chilling out, living your best life. It's okay.
You love to see the Yankees lose.
Yes, me too, Joe. Me too. As a matter of fact, everybody loves to see the Yankees. Nobody likes the Yankees. Don't people like the Yankees or the Yankees?
Did we lose?
Not yet.
Did we
lose? It will.
Answer.
Mark my words. It will happen. It will
happen. Answer my question. Did we lose?
No, not yet. No, you have not lost yet. You're still in it.
Keep talking like that. You talked like that for game 1, and look what happened now. Keep talking like that, baby.
Nah, you're going to lose. You're going to lose. Everybody on this panel knows it. Seattle and the Yankees win their series. Okay. So you got the Blue Jays going down, Tony. Okay. All right.
I love it.
It has been noted. And the Tigers are going to go down. He's calling the Tigers are going to go down.
Tony, you're welcome to the barbecue. Come get some pastelitos.
I don't even know what that is.
Exactly. You don't know. Stay in your lane. Oh my God. Oh my God. I think Joe forgot that Cowboys got a tie. And honestly, I'm not trying to say like they suck for that, but when you have a tie on your record,
You
that
know what?
sucks.
I'm starting to think that Joe's not even a real person, that it's actually Jay, one of Jay's burner accounts.
Oh, Jay does constantly look down. Look, he just looked down with his eyes thinking we ain't seen that. we
Fakel is Ihorn. Ihorn is Fakel.
we do see a phone flash screen on your glasses.
Don't worry, man. Joe, leave them alone. Don't worry about them. They both are potheads. They don't know anything.
That's a good observation, Chris, because real talk, who has a last name like this? Pronounce that last name for me.
Tranquina?
See?
It's Tranchina. I'm going with Tranquina.
Trans China.
He's stupid. All right. Rate it back in. Hey, let's. Hey, real quick. Just for game one. I want to get everybody on record as to who they're picking. Since the game actually will be tomorrow. So, Chris, I want you to give me your three, and then Frankie, you do the same, and then I'll go last. So, Chris, first game, Yankees, Toronto. Who are you taking game one? And just so you know, so there's no craziness, in game one, the Yankees are undecided on their pitcher, and it looks like Kevin Gossman is going to be the starter for Toronto.
Chris, I can tell you right now that the Yankees it's in Toronto. I can tell you right now, Chris, that the Yankees are most likely going to start Luis Gil. You can't bring in Max Fried. He just pitched a couple days ago. Rodon just pitched a couple of days ago. Cam Schlittler just pitched. So I think that now that we're in a 5-game, best out of 5 series, I think you're able to add an extra starter now. I think it's going to be Luis Gil, just to give you a heads up.
I like the Yankees.
I like Gossman. I like him. He was on my fantasy league, and he really has done quite well. And the fact that it's in Toronto, I'm gonna go Toronto on that one. So Chris is the Yankees, Jay is Toronto. Obviously, Frankie is the Yankees. So I'm not even gonna ask you, Frankie. I'm just gonna go ahead and automatically put you in. But you go ahead and tell me why, though. I need your reason as to why the Yankees are gonna win.
Well, like I said before, right now the Yankees bats are hot. They're swinging hot. I mean, even look at Judge, right? We've normally seen Judge struggle in playoff baseball, and last night was the only game he went 0 for 3 and he got hit by a pitch. Sorry. Other than that, he's been getting singles, and he hasn't hit a home run yet. But you know what? That's fine. Get on base. That's what I love. I'd rather see you get on base than strike out, because normally I see you strike out. So I think the hitting is what's doing it. The pitching is there. We just need to, stop. Like Chris said, we need to stop going to analytics, and Boone needs to go with his gut on, the best pitcher with the best, best relief arms and best closer. That's what you got to do. I feel like Toronto's going to lose because they had sit down, and you've seen how they ended their season. They didn't have a good end to their season, where they had a fight to win the division to the very end of the game of the season, seriously. And now they're sitting down, and they're cold. So I have full confidence that the Yankees. I do believe that the Yankees lose game one. I always say that a team loses the first game if you're on a travel day. I normally, that happens. So I do think that the Yankees lose game one, especially because it's Gausman versus Luis Gil. Not that I'm not sitting here saying that I don't have faith in Luis Gil. It's just Gausman is a better pitcher. That's why they're going with their ace first. But then if you look at it right after Luis Gil, Max Fried is on a mound, Carlos Rodon on a mound, with Cam Schlittler on the mound, and with Carlos Rodon and Schlittler, that would be in the Bronx. So we just need to take one game, and in Toronto, and I believe that one game will be on Max Fried's day.
So I like the Yankees because of Toronto having the time off. I think if it's going to affect Toronto, the time off is going. If it's going to affect Toronto, it's going to be game one. it'll affect their offense game one, and then they'll find their groove. So that's a big reason why I like the Yankees tonight.
Okay. Holy shitler. All right. Good deal.
Can I ask you something, Jay?
Yes.
Now I know you hate my team. I really do.
Oh, I love with the
and
passion.
I know you're picking Toronto because you don't want to see me happy and you don't want to see my boys go on. But can you give me a reason why you think Toronto has a better chance of beating the Yankees?
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, with the Yankees, I feel like Aaron Judge I still have not seen that Superman come out of him yet. Not that that's going to be the reason why. I just think more for me is just the fact that I like Gossman, and I'm only talking about game one. Like I said, it's on my fantasy team, and if they go with Luis Hill, I don't know enough about Luis Hill, so I really can't make a statement on him. But I just like the fact that it's in Toronto. You guys got to go up there. Gossman is a really good pitcher. Toronto's been playing well, so that's why I'm going Toronto. Just more so because you guys it's a travel day. And I know Gossman is a better pitcher than what you're going to put up there because you've already played the majority of your good pitches already, like you said. So I think Luis Hill does get the start.
Well, you do know, and that's cool. That's your take. That's your decision. But I just want to put this in your head that you do know that in the month of September, the Yankees have been the better team in the AL East compared to the Blue Jays. And in the month of September, we actually played a 3-game series against the Blue Jays, which one of them I went to and seen them win. We took a series from them. So do you think that, how should I word this? Because we beat them, do you think the Yankees know their pitch and know what to swing at and what not to swing at? That's what's gonna, because I do agree with you. The travel days I feel like is going to affect. That's why I'm sitting here saying that I do think the Yankees lose game one. Chris gave his thoughts on why he think Toronto could lose game one. You had the same theory on game one as I did, but like we just had a series against them, and we played against some of their best pitchers.
Yeah, I look at this like I would the Astros versus the Mariners, because even though the Mariners have always kicked our ass for the most part in the regular season, we've always gotten them in the postseason. They've never gotten us in the postseason. And that's kind of the way I feel about this. I still feel like, even though Toronto lost to you guys in the regular season, postseason is a little bit different. And the Yankees always find a way to mess something up. I don't know what it is, but I guarantee you always do. And except for the World Series. I know you were in the World Series not that long ago, but you didn't come away with the win. Not only did you not come away with the win, but you look terrible. You look terrible in the World Series. I think you know that, and I think you'll admit that. But I don't think in the postseason that Toronto is going to bow down to the Yankees. I think it's going to be the Yankees that are going to bow out before them. That's just the way I see it. And there's just certain teams that have your number in postseason wise. But we'll see. I could be wrong too. I guess
that's true.
We'll find out in game one.
Toronto isn't one of those teams because this is the first time ever Toronto Blue Jays and the Yankees are facing off in the postseason together.
Yeah.
So
I understand.
This is going to be a good one. I think, and I'm sorry if you guys heard me laugh a little while ago. It was funny because Jay said that Seattle has Astros numbers in the regular season, but not in the postseason. And I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, Jay, you can't have the Astros number in the postseason if you're never in that shit. This is their first time in the postseason.
No. We actually played them in the wild card. I wanted to say it was, I don't remember what year it was. I don't know if it was 19 or if it was 2021. It was one of them years. They did make the postseason. We played them in the postseason. We have played them once in the postseason. It was in the wild card though round. It wasn't like beyond that. Moving on, Cubs Brewers. Man, this is going to be a hell of a game. Cubs and the way the Cubs are playing right now, and the Brewers have been off for a week.
We already talked about that.
Did we already do that game?
That was the first one.
I thought I skipped over. I apologize. All right, then let's go with the Dodgers and Phillies then. Phillies have played the Dodgers really well, honestly. And I would think if anybody could beat the Dodgers this postseason, and I'm not saying the Dodgers can't be beat, but the Phillies really do kind of have the Dodgers or have had the Dodgers number. And this is the one matchup that I think if the Dodgers are going to go out on, it's going to be on this one in the divisional series against the Phillies. I don't even think they make it out of the division. I think Phillies take them in the divisional series. Sanchez, I believe, is on the mound tonight. I think versus Ohtani, if I'm not mistaken. And let me ask you guys a question. How many innings do you think Ohtani goes in game one? Chris?
Like 6.
I'll probably go. He'll go 6 or 7.
Okay. What is the longest amount of innings he's gone in the regular season? Because every time I've seen it, he's usually about 2 or 3. Has he gone beyond 3 innings in the regular season? No, this season.
This season, he toward his last couple of starts, I think he's went 6, 7 innings. His last
6 to 7?
His last 3 or 4 starts, he started going more. He was only going about 4 or 5, but he's went 6 or 7, 2 or 3 starts.
Okay. Yeah, and this game's going to be in LA. Excuse me, LA, I believe. So, is it LA or Philly? Is it Philadelphia?
They go to Philly.
Oh, so Philly's got the home. Okay. Yeah, I'm going with Phillies. I'm going because number 1, because it's a home game. Number 2, the Phillies are pretty hot. And number 3, I'm not 100% sure on Ohtani and his health-wise, but I know Sanchez has been playing really, really well from the pitcher spot. So I'm going to go with Phillies on this one. I think they get game 1. And like I said, the Phillies have been playing the Dodgers really well. Gonzo, who you picking?
I think I like the Dodgers to win game 1 tonight. I'll be rooting for the Phillies because since the Reds are out, I'd like to see the Phillies advance. But the Dodgers bats are hot, and they've been playing. The Phillies have not been playing. I think that could hurt the Phillies offense a little bit in game 1. And I think they'll find their groove after that. So, so I like the Dodgers in this first game.
Yeah, it is due to note that their relief pitcher Alvarado, who I've seen several times in my life pitch, he is on the 15-day IL, so he will not be in this series. So that's going to be a huge loss net in their bullpen. But Frankie, how do you see this Yankees in LA season or series working out game 1?
Phillies. You mean Phillies?
Yeah, Phillies. I'm sorry.
I think the Phillies are going to win, honestly. And the only reason why is because I look back at the series that they just played with the Reds, and it's no knock to the Reds. Chris even knows this. He said it many times where the Reds could have won this game, if not one game, at least both games. I have no faith in that Dodgers bullpen because the Reds had many opportunities against that bullpen to win that game. But it just came down to the mistakes that the Reds had made. And that's the only reason why I feel like Philly is going to, they're going to have trouble against Ohtani, and then it's going to look like, oh, damn, Phillies look like they're in a heap of trouble. But I feel like once they get Ohtani out and they go to that bullpen, I'm going to see bombs from Kyle Schwarber. I'm going to see bombs from Bryce Harper. Like, we're going to see that bullpen get annihilated by the Phillies come Saturday. So I'm going to go with the Phillies on this one. And I'm going to say a gentleman's sweep on this one as well. I'm going to say Philly win this series 3-1.
Interesting. Okay.
I have no faith in that bullpen, none whatsoever.
No. Trust me. I get what you're saying. The last game is the Tigers and Mariners. Obviously, the first game is in Mariners. They're in Seattle. I'm sorry. I like Detroit, man. I do. I know how good Cal Raleigh is. I mean, that guy is stupid good at the catcher spot. So much so, he's obviously in the conversation for MVP. So I don't want to knock that. So, but I do like Detroit. I like Scuba. I like what Detroit bringing. I don't know that necessarily you take game 1. So I'm going to go game 1 with Seattle. But I do think that Detroit takes the series as a whole. Gonzo?
I like Seattle. Wait a minute. Where's game 1 at? Is it in
Seattle? Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought. Yeah, I like Seattle in game 1. I also like Seattle to win the series. The Tigers are struggling so much offensively. I don't think they're going to be able to score enough runs to beat the Mariners.
Yeah, and it is important to note that Brian Wu is still day to day, the starting pitcher for Seattle. So I don't know how. I'm sure he'll be ready at some point this series. They have not named a starter yet for pitching. I don't see anywhere on here where they have their pitcher announced yet. So unless you guys have heard anything, I'm not sure who the pitcher is going to be for either one of these teams. I would imagine I would imagine maybe that the Scooble, their best ace, would go up maybe against either Garcia or the other. I forget who the other pitchers they have. I forget the other pitcher that they had that's really good, but I'm pretty sure I want to say it's going to be either Gilbert or Castillo that gets to start for the Mariners, but I could be wrong. Frankie, how do you see this playing out?
I honestly could care less about this series. I don't like AJ Hitch, his cheating ass, and I don't like Seattle. I don't like Seattle at all. You know how you guys definitely know how I feel about Seattle. You know, I always say Julio Rodriguez is Spanish for loser Rodriguez. But Kyle Raleigh pissed me off because I felt like he was going to break Aaron Judge's home run record, which he just got in 2022. I felt like that was like too quick for someone to try and catch up to him. But I feel like now that he had like a couple of days off to rest, we're not going to see the home run Kyle Raleigh that we've seen in the regular season. Like, he'll get some home runs, but we're not going to see him hit like 2 home runs in one game. I don't think so. But I do think, because the Detroit Tigers pitching has some trouble with Cleveland a little bit, I do think that if the Mariners could get into the Tigers bullpen, I feel like I said, the Tigers only have one good pitcher, and that's Scooble. I think that Seattle can win this series.
So you think it's going to come down to Seattle's pitch and
No, I think it's gonna come down to how bad Detroit's bullpen is gonna be, because Detroit's bullpen was literally like, it wasn't good against the Cleveland Guardians, and so was some of their starters. Some of the starters, they were giving up too many hits. And if you do that, and I get that, you know, those starters, like, they got out of innings and they didn't score, like the Cleveland couldn't score runs or whatever. But this is the Seattle Mariners. They have some fast base runners, and they get base hits. So if you're a starting pitcher for the Detroit Tigers and you're getting people on base, don't think that they're going to do so. You know, you're going to do what you did to Cleveland. Like, they're going to hit the ball. So I think that's going to come down to the pitcher.
Yeah, absolutely. Real quick, I know we're getting low on time, but I want to talk a little bit of football. More so, with me and Tony kind of talked about the games yesterday. I want to kind of talk about some of these notable injuries. That are playing fantasy out with the foot sprain. Allen, the running back Allen. I'm not sure what his first name is. Who's Allen on there? Do you know? I know Brees Hall was always the one I'm thinking. Braylon Allen. I don't really know much about Braylon Allen, so I don't think that's really a notable one. Trying to think who else was. Trey Benson is also out. McCarthy is obviously still out for the Vikings. Hubbard is out, and Dowdle is going to start for Carolina. So if you have Hubbard as your running back, you're going to want to sit him. Obviously, Hill is out for the season, or if not longer. And Noah Fant, I don't think he's a Bengals tight end, so I don't think he really matters. He's got a concussion. So those are all the big notables that I've seen. Obviously, Lamar Jackson is out for a little while. Frankie, man, it's a lot of damn injuries, man, to start off only be week 5 in football.
Yeah. I said this shit by like week 3. By week 3, we've seen so many players go down, and it's crazy. I don't know what the heck is going on. People be saying, well, this is why they should play preseason and they shouldn't be sitting down. But I don't even think that's it. I just think that they're just coming out, you know, after being not playing the last couple, 5 months. You're just coming out and you're taking the wrong steps or taking the wrong routes, and it's just like you're ruining yourself. Um, it's crazy this year alone. It really is, and it sucks. But could it be the turf, Jay? Could it be the fact that the fields are turfs? Because Malik Nabers went down. He went down not even like getting tackled or anything. He went down and his knee banged up on the turf and tore his ACL. Same way Odell Beckham Jr. tore his ACL. So I mean, could it be the fact that the turf? Maybe should the NFL go from turf to real grass again? Who knows?
Yeah, I've always been a favorite of real grass. I've never really been a turf guy. I've seen so many injuries on the turf versus grass. I would love to see him go back to grass. Gonzo, I have a question for you, man. So we are currently, the Cleveland Browns just named Dylan Gabriel the starter. Shador is still on the third spot on the depth chart. Now you got Flacco in the number 2 spot. If you're in Shador's camp or whatever, how much of a slap in the face is it to leave Shador in the 3rd spot and not at least move him up to the 2nd spot behind Dylan Gabriel?
I have no comment on this.
Okay.
I think it's stupid that we're saying it's a slap in the face to a guy that was a 5th round draft pick, and we just act like a guy that was a 3rd round draft pick is just automatically trash. So I really don't have no take on it.
Yeah, I understand that, and Frankie, how do you feel about it? Do you feel about it the same way Gonzo feels about it?
I mean, yeah, kind of. Because I feel like Shador Sanders is just in the NFL because he's the son of Deion Sanders, and I feel like because he was potentially one of the top 3 to get draft picked, and it didn't happen till the 5th round, that Deion Sanders had literally had to probably get on the phone and oh well, what team would be the easiest to get my son in? Oh, let me call the trash Browns. Maybe they'll get him. And then that happens, and now all of a sudden, you hear the Steelers saying, "Oh, we should have got him." The Eagles saying we were going to get him. The Cowboys coming out saying we were probably going to get him. It's ridiculous. It's dumb. I have no say in this. And I said it since day one, where I think we had Pride come back on the show for one show, and he was pissed. He doesn't like Dylan Gabriel. He thinks Shador Sanders should be over Dylan Gabriel. He thinks Dylan Gabriel should get traded or probably put on the practice squad. I fully like Dylan Gabriel, and I can't wait for him to come out and show out and piss everybody off to where people can be like, oh, Shador who? Because let's not forget, like I said, he's only in the NFL because his dad made calls.
I mean, I totally agree with that. So much so, I saw the report where he turned down going to Baltimore and he went to Cleveland because he felt like he would be a long-term backup if he signed on behind Lamar Jackson. So he felt like he had a better chance of becoming a starter if he went to Cleveland. Man, I think he got that one wrong, because I think if he'd have gone to Baltimore, he probably would be starting right now.
Exactly.
Lamar is out for a while.
Exactly. You're telling me you'll start Cooper Rush over Shador Sanders?
I think he definitely got that wrong. I feel like, I guess when I said slap in the face, it's like, Shador, he hasn't been doing bad things, right? He's been doing the things that they ask him to do. He plays with the 3rd string, doesn't complain about it, studies the book, studies the plays, doing all the things they ask him, doesn't complain about it, and hasn't complained about it. He's actually been a pretty good teammate over there, from everything I can see. I've not seen anything negatively where he's not been doing a good job or cancer or toxic or any of that, So I feel like you obviously drafted him for a reason. You obviously drafted him to see what he can do. Why not give him a shot at number 2? I'm not saying put him over Dylan Gabriel. I play Dylan Gabriel. I think that's perfectly fine. I think you should push him up to the number 2 spot. So if Dylan Gabriel goes down, or if Dylan Gabriel doesn't play like you think he should be playing, then you could put in Shador, see what Shore can do. And the reason why I'm saying that is, if you know that you're not going to do anything this year, or you're not really going to go anywhere this year, then why not play both your guys? See what you have, and then know that if you need to do your draft strategy a little bit different the following year, or if you can build off of one of these 2 young guys and then draft a piece to go along with it, whether it be offensive line or whatever the case is, to support that quarterback. And also, they're also young enough in the season now where they're not out of it. There's a lot of teams that are 1-3 or 2-2, or even at this point 3-1. So it's still that you can still catch them if you could get the right quarterback in play, or the right quarterback, whether it be Dylan Gabriel or Shador or whatever. If they've done their homework and they come out and they ball out and they do great things, I mean, they could pull a CJ Stroud. Who knows? Or they could not. They could just flat out suck. And then, going into draft time, Gabriel's not the answer. Shador wasn't the answer. And you got another shot at the bite of the apple. But either way, I think Shador should be moved up to the number 2 spot. Given the way that Flacco played the last game and the rookie mistakes that he was making as a veteran, well, let a rookie make those mistakes and let's see where you go. I don't know. Any thoughts on that? Okay.
I got nothing. I don't want to talk about Shador.
It's a quiet day on this show, and I'm the only one visible, and everybody else is eating pasta.
I don't want to talk about Shador. Shador's trash.
It is. Look, I can't say that about Shador. I ain't really seen the guy do anything yet in college or the NFL. So really can't formulate a thought on somebody you haven't really seen go up against competition worthy of talking about. So I understand where you're coming from, and I understand where Gonzo's coming from. So there you have it, folks. Quick rundown on tonight's games before we get out of here. Get everybody's takes on who they think is going to win or lose. Obviously, we just had the Thursday night game. I guess we should talk about the Thursday night game real quick. Gonzo, what did you think about the Rams, and or did you take away anything from the Rams and 49ers? I don't know if you caught any of that game last night.
Yeah, the 49ers pulled off a big win with you going in missing a lot of guys. Mac Jones played a heck of a game last night and showed some toughness too, because he was banged up most of that second half. I thought the 49ers almost blew the game there. You had to be more. I know you're on your own goal line, and you're trying to make them use your timeouts, but you got to be a little more aggressive to try to get at least one first down. That way, when you do punt it to them, they don't have such a good field position. Because once they punted it there, you knew that game was going in overtime. But no, a big win by the 49ers, and they pulled out a couple big got that goal line stop by punching the ball out, and then got that big stop there in the overtime to win it. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And Frankie, Mac Jones used to be on your squad. Now he's with the 49ers. And it looks like when he went to you guys after the draft, year one, with Josh McDaniels as his coordinator, that y'all made it to the playoffs, and Mac Jones made it to the Pro Bowl. Josh McDaniels leaves, inserted defensive coordinator / special teams coordinator as your new offensive coordinator. Mac Jones like poo-poo. Y'all team looks like poo-poo. And you move on from Mac Jones, you bring in Drake May. Looks like Drake May now is obviously doing good things for you guys. But you also have a good offense, or you actually have an offensive coordinator in Josh McDaniels for the second go around. So Drake May should be looking pretty good. I look at this game last night in two different ways. I look at last night as the 49ers, who by all things out there should have lost this game, right? They have less talent, right, than what the Rams do. But I felt like this was a career-building game for Mac Jones. It was definitely a game to put on the resume. You can't tell me that Mac Jones doesn't want to be a starter in this league. And you can't tell me that there aren't positions available, a.k.a. the Saints, that would take a guy like a Mac Jones that can do something and turn something into nothing. What do you think about this game in terms of Mac Jones' perspective in it?
I always have love for Mac Jones. He to me will forever be a Patriot, even though his Patriot time was cut short. I felt like the New England Patriots didn't want to look at it at a point of, is it the quarterback that's the problem, or was it the coaching? Because I always said that Bill Belichick knew that he was gonna, he knew that his time was done with New England. And the only way he can get revenge was literally by making us look bad for the future. And that's what he did with trash draft picks and not signing good players in free agency. He set us up for failure. And in return, and when we got Gerard Mayo as a coach, Gerard Mayo looked at it as, oh, we don't need Mac Jones anymore. Let's trade him away and let's go get Drake May. And there's no knock on Drake May. I like Drake May as well. He's a really good athlete. He's a great quarterback for us. I honestly feel like he's going to beat the Buffalo Bills on Sunday night. I have, like, literally, I'm going around saying I have full confidence in my team literally beating the Bills this weekend. But I just think that I just think that Mac Jones is a good quarterback. It came down to the offensive coordinator who's calling the plays and the head coach. If you have faith in him, and the 49ers looking like they have faith in him. So I think that the more reason why the 49ers won this game was because the Rams defense didn't show up. The Rams defense was really bad at trying to stop the run or even trying to stop the pass play, because Mac Jones had a lot of short pass plays that went for kind of a lot of yards. The Rams defense needs to step up, and also you need to control the ball. Their running back has the most highest fumble losses since 2022 or 2023, and I think it's at double digits. So you got to protect the ball, and especially when you're at the goal line, you can't fumble the ball at the goal line. I understand it got punched out, but you got to secure that shit when you're at the goal line. 2 hands on the ball always at the goal line. Every running back knows that. So it came down to that, the turnovers at the very end. And it came down to the Rams defense being trash.
So Joe has a question for you, Frankie. He says, hey, Frankie, I don't know much about New England Patriots. I'm thinking about putting them on my parlay. Does your team have any major injuries before I pick them against Buffalo?
We don't have any major injuries. Christian Gonzalez, to me, was the only major injury that was out with a hamstring. He was out for the first 4 weeks. Or actually the first 3 weeks. He came back in week 4. And he looks pretty solid. He's always a good cornerback. He locks down top defenders, and I feel like that's what's going to be it for us is Christian Gonzalez being back and being able to stop and lock down the top wide receiver for the Buffalo Bills. The only name that popped into mind this week during missed practices was Milton Williams. That's the only big name to me that came out, and it wasn't said that he wasn't playing. It doesn't say anything about a significant injury. It just said that he wasn't seen at practice. I don't know if it's because of an injury or personal problems, but that's something that I'm going to be keeping out on my eye for. And Joe, if you want to pick the Patriots on your parlay, I wouldn't be surprised because, like I said, I have full confidence that Buffalo will lose to the Patriots because, the Buffalo defense isn't good also. Like, they just gave up 19 points to the New Orleans Saints, 19 points against the Buffalo Bills, and they were actually in it against Buffalo. I believe it was 21-19 at one point, to where Buffalo only scored another 10 points to win 31-19. So the Saints were actually in that game with Buffalo, and we're not the Saints. I have full confidence in this offensive line that's been holding people back to protect Drake May, and the wide receivers that have been showing out, Hunter Henry, Stephon Diggs finally having a good game, which, by the way, he's going back to Buffalo as a New England Patriot. And I expect him to have an explosive game, showing why Buffalo should have given him the money to stay. And also Matt Collins, a former Buffalo Bills from last year, he's also going back to Buffalo as a New England Patriot. I expect him to show out. He hasn't been showing out lately. He's got a couple of touchdowns in a couple of games, but he's not a number one primary target. But because we're going back to Buffalo and these are 2 former Buffalo wide receivers, I expect them to have an explosive game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I got to imagine, at some point, they bring Mac Jones in for a starting job somewhere. Saints, any other team out there that needs a quarterback, maybe even Carolina, who knows? What do you think? Do you think I got to imagine he definitely gets a starting job somewhere if he continues to play the way he's playing?
Oh, yeah, I definitely believe Mac Jones is going to get a starting job pretty soon. If not now. If I'm Kyle Shanahan, right, and Brock Purdy's, saying I'm 100%, I understand you gave him the money, but you have to keep the ball in the person that's hot right now. And there's nobody hotter than Mac Jones right now as a backup starter. At this season alone, he's 3-0. His passing, every 3 games he's played, he's thrown for more than 350 plus yards a game. So, he's showing out and he's showing that he wants to be a starter. And I've always said this to people: don't overlook Mac Jones. Even when what's his name? Trevor Lawrence was out last year for Jacksonville. He came out and he actually played good for Jacksonville. They didn't win a lot of games, but he played good. He's winning a lot of games, and he won yesterday with a bunch of nobodies. The only person he had was Christian McCaffrey and Kendrick Bourne. Like, other than that, he didn't have nobody. He won against the Rams. So, I mean, you have to believe in this dude. And I think some teams should look at this as like what are the 49ers going to do? Are they going to bench Brock Purdy for the hot hand? If not, can we make a call to work a deal so we can get Mac Jones, because he looks like a guy that can be for our franchise? If not, I do believe that teams are going to look at him at the offseason in 2026. But he will definitely get a starting job by next year, Jay.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk real quick. We're just gonna pick winners and losers in this to wrap it up. So Vikings and Browns got the 8:30 in the morning game on Sunday. Vikings obviously are going to be going with Wentz. Browns are going to be going with Gabriel. Obviously, this is Gabriel's debut. Will be against the Vikings overseas. How do you see this? Who's your winner in this game?
So on paper, I picked the Vikings, but in my mind, and even in my the morning show that you do with Philly Sports Guy and stuff, I said the Cleveland Browns because as my survival poll pick, I will not be surprised if the Cleveland Browns win this game, because the Vikings don't look. I mean, look at what Pittsburgh did to the Vikings last week. They stopped Carson Wentz. Justin Jefferson wasn't getting the ball as much. Their running game isn't there. They don't even have their top defensive player in Van Winkle. So I kind of, in my heart and in my brain, want to say that the Cleveland Browns can win. But on paper, I'm going with the Vikings. I'm just going to go with the team that I feel on paper that can win.
Yeah, I'm definitely going with the Vikings just because I know what they have in Carson Wentz. I still don't know what they have in Dylan Gabriel. All we have is his college tape and how he looked in practice. So until I see it on the field from Dylan in person, not in person, but on the TV, and see him doing it, then I can make a better assessment. Because there's a question mark at the most key position for the Browns, I'm going to take the Vikings on this one. Raiders and Colts, I'll go first. I'm going to take the Colts on this. The only question mark I have in this game, or what I'm curious to see out of this game, is if Ashton Genty can have a repeat performance of what he did last week. Frankie?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Colts on this one, and not just because of Daniel Jones. I still think he's going to have a downfall. We've seen it last week. The only reason why I'm going for it is because the Raiders haven't been looking good this year at all. They have not been looking good offensively and defensively, and it sucks for Max Crosby and Brock Bowers. But I think the Colts are going to win this.
Okay. Giants and Saints. This is a battle of two terrible teams, but I think the Saints are just a little bit more terrible than the Giants. So I'm going to go with the Giants on this, and I think they go to 2-3 on this one. Frankie?
Yeah, I'm going with the Giants as well, but do not be surprised if the Saints win, because, like I said, they kept in there last week with the Buffalo Bills of all team, and but I'm gonna go with my gutness and say that the Giants are gonna win with Jackson Dart again.
All right, and then Cowboys, Jets. Even though I know it's the Jets, it's this Jets team. I've been saying it since week one when I saw them play week one, that this Jets team is just a little bit different. They have a little bit more swag in them now than they've had in recent years or even decade. So I am gonna roll with the Cowboys on this one, but I think it's gonna be a close game, and I think the Jets play hard.
I'm going with Dallas. I'm not picking no fucking Jets. I'm sorry. And there's no way in hell I'm picking the Jets. I hate the Jets. I absolutely can't stand the Jets. I don't care who they're playing. They can play the Carolina Panthers, and I'll still pick the Panthers. I don't like the Jets. I think that they're gonna make one mistake in this game, because they, like you said, they look okay, I guess, but they always make mistakes. They made mistakes against Miami where they could have beaten Miami and they didn't. They're not gonna beat the Cowboys.
Yeah, I agree. And then next game is Broncos and the Eagles. Broncos have been playing some good football. Dobbins has been looking pretty good. Bo Nix has been looking pretty good. Sutton's been looking good. But this Eagles team, man, that's a tough team over there. That defense is crazy, crazy good. The only thing that surprised me this year is Saquon has gotten off a little bit of a slower start than he did last year with the Eagles. But I do think the Eagles are going to take this one. I don't think the Broncos are quite there yet to match up with the Eagles. Frankie?
Yeah, I'm going with the Eagles as well, just because their offense is good. But I expect a close game because every game this season that the Eagles have played has been a close game because of their defense. And I keep telling people that during the offseason, Philly lost a lot of key defensive players in free agency, and I knew that this was going to happen. But offensively, they're better. So I'm going to go with the Eagles on this one in a close game.
Next one is Dolphins versus the Panthers. And the Dolphins have just been like straight dog water. I mean, dog water. To the point where I got to imagine Mike McDaniel is just probably games away from being out of a job at some point before this season ends. And I never thought I would say this, but I'm actually going to go Panthers. But Hubbard's hurt. They got Dowdle in. Now, I'm still going to roll Panthers on this one because Tyreek Hill's not there. I'm going to go Panthers. I think it'll be a close game. But I think Panthers get this one. Frankie?
I'm going with the Dolphins. You know,
Okay.
I'm always going to ride with my wife's team so she could be happy unless they're going against the Patriots. And also, I feel like Jalen Waddle is gonna have an outstanding year now that Tyreek Hill is gone. He's gonna get more of the passes now. He's gonna have all the yardage and touchdowns.
Yeah,
I think that the Dolphins are gonna win this game. Plus, my team just played the Panthers. Their defense is terrible.
Yeah, buddy. And then the next one is the Texans and Ravens. And obviously, you know, Lamar is not in this game. He probably won't be in there for a hot minute. So it's going to be Cooper Rush at the helm of this. And I told him on yesterday, or was it yesterday, the day before yesterday, that I don't think that the Ravens are going to make the playoffs. I think they're going to be out of the playoffs this year. But I definitely have the Texans winning this game. Frankie?
I'm going with the Ravens.
Okay.
People are probably going to be surprised and be like, why? Like, Lamar Jackson's not in there. Listen, Jay, you of all people should know Cooper Rush. You had the man. He's won you some games without Dak Prescott. He went 5-0 for you guys. He went 5-0 before losing some games. So I fully believe that Cooper Rush can do something with this team. It's not like they lost their wide receivers to injuries. It's just the quarterback down. And I feel like Cooper Rush is a good quarterback. He's still got those weapons. You know, you got Bateman. You still got not Tyreek Hill. Sorry, you still got Derrick Henry in the backfield. You got some good weapons over there in Baltimore. It's just the quarterback that's down.
Yeah, so we will see on that one. Yeah, that should be interesting. The next one is the Titans and Cardinals. Cardinals, Trey Benson is hurt, so they'll be running back by committee built on just backup running backs. So don't expect much of a run game, with the exception of Kyler Murray running the hell out of it, I would imagine, from the Cardinals. But even with that being said, I still think the Cardinals are the better team here. Cam Ward is clearly not happy with his team or even his own play, I don't think. So, I'm definitely not rocking with the Titans. I got Cardinals all day. Frankie?
Yeah, I'm going Cardinals also. When you got your quarterback coming out in the press conference and being serious and being real with you and even telling you himself out of his mouth that we're ass, that tells you everything. That tells you everything. I'm sure, obviously, he's happy. He's the number one draft pick. Every kid wants to get drafted. But I'm sure in his mind, when he was getting drafted and he had that smile on his face, in his mind, he's like, damn it, fuck, with the Titans. Their coach is trash. This team is trash. I just watched them have a shitty season. Now I'm here. Great. But he got a smile on his face because you got drafted. Get the money, kid. There's nothing more you can do when you're a Titan quarterback. I'm sorry. There's nothing more you can do. Unless that team is literally like, unless that franchise is like, listen, Cam Ward is the guy. Let's start building around him. if they don't start building around him, he's gonna want to get out of there.
Oh yeah, easily. Well, I think he wants out of there already. I think he's ready to turn that uniform in already. Next game, Buccaneers versus the Seahawks. This is gonna be a close game, honestly. Both teams are 3-1. The game's in Seattle. Baker's playing with fire, but he doesn't have Mike Evans. And he doesn't Bucky Irvin. That's also he also plays for the Buccaneers, doesn't he? If I'm not mistaken, but Bucky Irvin, that's their running back. Correct me for Bucks.
Yeah,
That's what I was thinking in my head. But Bucky Irving's not playing, so no Irving, no Evans. I think this is prime for Seahawks to get the win on this. So I'm gonna roll Seahawks on this one. Frankie,
I want to go Buccaneers, but there's still, no Mike Evans. Chris Godwin didn't look good last week. But they fought back and they almost won that game, or I think they did win that game last week. I don't know, man. I'm gonna have to go with Sam Darnold in that Seattle Seahawks team.
yeah, I just think they're the more healthier team of the two. To be honest with you. With that being said, that brings us to the Lions and the Bengals. Clearly, the Bengals look like dog water their own selves. There's no Burrow. You got Browning, who is getting dog stomped into the ground because the offensive line doesn't know to block left or block right or block left and right and leave the center open. I mean, it's crazy. So I think Browning is going to be running for his life. I think Aiden Hutchinson is going to have a feast. And I think Jamar Chase and T. Higgins will still be two Ferraris that are parked in the garage and very rarely come out. That's the way I see this game. So I'm going Lions all the way. And I don't even think it's going to be close. Frankie?
Yeah, I'm going Lions. I'm not going against the Lions, especially when you're not a good team.
Yeah. That brings us to the next game is the Commanders and the Chargers. And Jaden Daniels has been medically cleared to play, although the team has not come out officially and said that he's going to be the starter. I got to imagine he's probably going to be the starter. How well will he play against a tough Chargers defense? That's another matter. Again, Chargers don't have Mack. Khalil Mack is hurt. So, but that still doesn't take away the rest of that team. So I'm rolling with the Chargers just because I don't know if Jaden Daniels even though he's medically cleared, I don't know how well he's going to play, being his first game back from injury. And also, there's no Terry McLaurin. As far as I've seen so far, McLaurin is still on the IR as well. So I'm going to take the Chargers. Frankie?
Yeah, it came out a couple days ago that Terry McLaurin is not going to be playing this game. Jaden Daniels is back, but he has nobody to throw to. I think Deebo Samuels is out as well. It sucks for Washington because in the offseason they were built to look like a super team, and then the Terry McLaurin contract talk was stalling, and then you start the season and then everybody's just going down one by one, including your quarterback. Not only that, he's coming back from being injured, but not having the weapons around him right now because they're hurt. I don't see enough out of Washington right now. So give me the Chargers, especially an upset Chargers that just lost their undefeated season to a giant.
Yeah. So, and you're right. So Noah Brown is out. Debo is questionable, although Debo did not practice Thursday at all. So I got to imagine it's going to be a game time decision whether or not Debo hits that field or not. McLaurin is obviously out. So I would say this. I'm going to say it to myself. Jay, Zach Ertz is on your bench. There's really nobody else to throw to. I see Zach Ertz getting lots of throws. Maybe we should play Zach Ertz. No, that's a good call. I will play Zach Ertz this week. Thank you, Jay McLovin. No problem, Jay McLovin. And that's typically how a conversation goes in my brain, Frankie. But yeah, so that's crazy. Do you think Zach Ertz, do you expect him to have a big day since a lot of the targets are not necessarily there?
Yeah, I do believe it. Zach Ertz a couple weeks ago had an amazing game too. He was catching passes and even got like a couple touchdowns. But because Jalen Daniels don't have much of his weapons, he's gonna have to throw to his big man. I do expect him to get some help out of some receivers that we probably don't know their names. But I do think that Zach Ertz is going to be the guy, especially when they get into the red zone.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the next game after that, I lost my place. Next game after that was going to be Patriots and Bills. Frankie, I know in your heart you want the Patriots to win, but I gotta imagine you're in your best analytic brain, you're probably gonna pick the Bills. I'm picking the Bills. How you seeing this game?
Oh, I'm picking Patriots all the way. I'm picking Patriots all the way. I don't care. My analytics, my fandom, I don't care. I'm hearing ESPN, they're all saying Bills and stuff like that. Listen, I don't care. I do not care. I feel like this team now, with a new coach and Mike Vrabel, who I love so much on the sideline, he's like with the players. He's out there practicing with the players. I haven't seen coaches like that do that anymore. Our defense is built differently, especially with Christian Gonzalez coming back. He's going to be there to lock down that number one target for Josh Allen. That front defensive line, who is so nice that they stopped the run. I'm thinking about benching James Cook for the day. I'm not 100% sure on that yet. That's just my fandom in me saying that. But my fantasy manager in me is saying don't do it. But that defensive line for New England is legit. We do have, I think, the most turnover in fumbles this season already, with like 9 or 10. And with Drake May having an offensive line, having Will Campbell at the blind side block, Will Campbell has been absolutely amazing this season. I'm surprised nobody's talking about it. He's been protecting Drake May really well this year. Hunter Henry coming out being like the number one target for Drake May. Like I said, Stephon Diggs coming back to Buffalo. He's gonna want a revenge game. I feel like he's gonna blow out just like he did last week. Pop Douglas, Keyshawn Booty. I feel like the Patriots are gonna literally come out, and I'm not gonna say dominate. It's gonna be a close game because you don't overlook Josh Allen. But I do think we have a chance to win this game.
And there you have it, fandom at its finest. The last game is the Chiefs and Jaguars. Man, the Jaguars have been playing pretty good as of late under Cohen. But again, you can also question that maybe their competition hasn't exactly been the toughest. I'm going to go with the Chiefs on this, Frankie. And just because I think they're finally starting to gel over there in KC, even though they don't quite have Rashid Rice or anybody back, they do have Xavier Worthy back. And Xavier Worthy actually had a pretty good game last week out, which bode well for KC and the rest of them. So I do think that Chiefs are getting back on track now. It's going to take them a little bit more as we go along. They still got to get Rashid Rice, which will help open up that passing game even more for Patrick Mahomes. But I'm going to take the Chiefs over the Jags. And I believe this game is in Jacksonville, but I'm going to take the Chiefs away in Jacksonville. Who you got, Frankie?
Yeah, I'm going Kansas City also, just because, like you said, Xavier Worthy coming back, which I am so happy for because he's in my fantasy. I was so down to earth when he got hurt within 3 plays of the first game. I was pissed off. Thank God it wasn't a significant injury, but he came back. He scored me great points last week in fantasy. I expect him to do the same again. And I said that this was going to happen when he came back from injury, that once he comes back, it's going to change the whole dynamic for this offense and for Patrick Mahomes. If you seen him last week, he was actually playing happy. Everyone looked like they were having a good time. I kind of am now a little bit worried that Kansas City can go back to the Super Bowl now that Xavier Worthy is back. And if I'm not mistaken, this is week 5, so I think they only got 1 more week or 2 more weeks without Rashid Rice. So they're going to get even a little bit more scary. Give me the Kansas City Chiefs on this one.
All right, folks, and there you have it. Frank's got the Chiefs, I got the Chiefs, and that's how we're going to round out our predictions. It's going to be a hell of a good week, man, honestly. We got college football tomorrow night we have college football. We also have playoff baseball tomorrow, so Saturday is going to be loaded down with a bunch of sports. So if you're a sports junkie, tomorrow you're going to have a great day. And Sunday, you get a lot of football. And I'm going to imagine also some more baseball as well. So should be an action-packed weekend, Frankie.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm kind of glad that the Patriots play Sunday night because like I could change my attitude and change my whole entire attire. I could go from Frankie the Yankee to Foxborough Frankie C in one day. They don't play at the same time. I can it's gonna be a good day for me. I'm excited. I know you're not excited. It would be cool if the Astros are playing, but they're not. So you only got one team to root for right now.
Yeah, man, it's rough over here for me, man. Well, all right. Hey, I appreciate everybody tuning in to the afternoon show. If you liked our content, don't forget that subscribe button on ESEN's YouTube page as well as Gonzo's Sports Room page as well. And if you see Gonzo out and about, if you want to just DM Gonzo and ask him how his Reds are doing, tell him Jay McLovin said so.
Oh, yeah. For those of you watching and know that on Mondays and Fridays we have a evening show. Tonight we will not be having our evening show. Some of our cast are going to be a little bit busy tonight, so we will be picking that back up on Monday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 9 p.m. Central here on ESPN Network.
What Frankie said, man, what a good time it is. All right, it's your boy Jay McLovin, along with Frankie C, Foxborough Frankie the Lake Show, and every other moniker that man holds. We will catch you on Monday, the next afternoon show. Y'all be good.